Welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program, and as you can see, visually, the coolest guest of all time. Forget Kramer, Dick Vermeil, the pretty girls. This man, Charles Smith, which is a name that does hurt my feelings, because as a huge Knicks fan, that play under the basket, Horace Grant fouled him, by the way, still in the playoffs against the Bulls, broke my heart. I cried after that loss because I knew the series was over, Mott. But Charles Smith is a rock star, not just because of the amazing Sideshow Bob haircut style, but because he makes some of the most interesting wines in the world. Definitely a very popular character, and I'm super excited to have you here, my man.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Good
being
to be
here.
Go
Why don't you
Jets.
Thank you. I love that. We talked a little Brett Favre. He was at the NFC Championship game last year.
I cried.
You did, huh?
Yeah.
He's a Favre guy.
Yeah, but Giants beat New England, so that's okay.
That worked out for you.
It was awesome.
Tell the Maniacs who you are, why you're here, what you do, how you roll. Go.
All right. I'm Charles Smith. I'm from Walla Walla, Washington, and I make single vineyard Syrah, and I make my modernist project, Charles Smith Wines. I do a single vineyard Kung Fu Girl Riesling because Riesling and girls kick ass. I make my Chateau Smith Cabernet Sauvignon because this is America, so I have my Chateau Smith. Nothing can be more American than Smith. And then I make my little single vineyard wines that are biodynamic Cabernet Sauvignon with Syrah, and my single vineyard Syrah from the oldest plantings in Walla Walla, which are not really that old, but it's old enough for you guys up there.
So it's not too old, but old enough.
Right.
Sounds like a 21-year-old. You know, not too old, but old enough.
Perfect. You got it.
So, now, let me ask you this. I know that you make a lot of wines. This is not your entire... How many wines do you make a year? Because you make a lot of these higher-end wines.
The K wines, I make like 14 different wines, but some of them are as small as just 2 barrels, so like 50 cases. Sure. This wine I only made 200 cases of, so 8 barrels, and this one I only made 12 barrels of. This one I made a little bit more.
Well, this is one of your signature wines, really.
Yeah, single vineyard Riesling.
This wine's gotten pretty hot. You've done some good damage with this.
Yeah, people seem to like it.
Let's talk about it. Let's get into it.
Cool.
First wine.
I'm so thirsty.
Kung Fu Girl Riesling 2007 from Washington State. Suggested retail around 13 US bones, as we like to say on the Thunder Show. Let's give it a little pour. Pour for my guest.
You know
here.
how I like it.
Go. Put this over here. Leave this over here, Mott. This way we got a nice visual. Now, Charles, what I'm going to need you to do is give it a sniffy sniff, because that's what we do on the Thunder Show.
Smells good.
You like it? Wow. Go figure.
Go figure. I mean, it's like really minerally and floral, kind of like spring flowers, you know, like white blossoms.
What do you look for when you're looking to do a Riesling? I mean, obviously, a lot of people on the Thunder Show on Wine Library TV know that I've been a big proponent of Walla Walla.
Right.
For about 2 years now, I've been screaming through the internet, telling people that I think Walla Walla is the premier place to make wine in America.
You bet.
Which has made me slightly unpopular in Napa.
But you're really popular with us in Walla Walla.
I know that.
Thank you.
And you guys seem to be pretty cool. So,
Well,
that
we're
works
working
out.
on it.
I like the California guys, too. Listen, at the end of the day, I want to beat both your asses. We play the Niners and the Seahawks this year, and I'm looking for 2 victories. We need those wins.
I'm torn. I like the
Are you a
Seahawks,
Seahawks
but
fan?
I like football, but I like Favre. I mean, you guys, it's great that you got them, you know.
All of a sudden, people like the Jets, man. I mean, this.
I always like the Jets. They got the cool uniforms. It's old school. You got
It is
the green
old
and
school.
white.
You see my Namath statue over there?
So awesome.
You like that, right?
Like
Anyway,
both
let's get
different-
focused.
anyway.
Riesling. What do you look for when you put together a Riesling? Because I think Riesling has really done a great job in Washington State. I did an episode from Seahawks Stadium where I did Riesling's New York versus Washington.
Right.
And Washington kind of whipped ass. So what are you excited about? What in the terroir, what in Walla Walla makes you feel, or this is not actually Walla Walla, right?
No, this is
Columbia,
a single, yeah.
Which I think Columbia, makes a lot of interesting wines. It really was the bigger name of the bunch in the early days of Washington State. What of this area makes you excited about Riesling?
Well, what I like about any great wine, I always think they're planted in marginal climate. So this is a very far up north vineyard in Washington State. It's along the Columbia River, so you have the cool air coming down from Canada and keeping the acidity really nice and high. So what you get here, the soils are all fragmented basalt, gravel, and chalk. So you get this really imparted of a really sense of place. I mean, the terroir. I mean, when you look at German Riesling, I mean, they're growing on these steep slopes. They're just clinging to life on that hillside to make like killer wine. And this
because they're stressing, right?
They're stressing, and the thing is, without
a lazy vine makes shit wine.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to
And
keep
so
that
So this one is struggling, but in a beautiful, pristine, fresh, clean place. So Riesling is all about purity and freshness and pretty. I mean, the wines are just, great Riesling. It makes the greatest white wine in the world. And so in Washington State, because we have a marginal climate, we have a long growing season, and we have great soils, you can make something like this that has restraint and minerality and typicity and taste like the place it comes from. We don't want to drink world wine. We want to drink wines from France, from Italy, from Spain. We don't want to take it from Washington State and from California. We want to taste wines that taste like the place they come from, and that's it.
Sense of place.
Yeah, it's like traveling.
Sure.
You know, I mean, this is.
So you're down on Disney World and Vegas that reincarnate
I'm not a
other
Vegas.
Places.
Vegas is dangerous for me.
I
need a binder when I go there.
I understand that.
I avoid it. Like I only do flyovers.
And the chalk is in the ground is a big factor for Riesling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
that's where you get a lot of the action.
Yeah, it's all there. Otherwise, it's just sweet and sour.
Sure. Let's give it a whirl.
Awesome.
I will say that I smell. Do you remember the erasers that were like white and they were like in the shape of like an action figure, like He-Man, or like they were like? Do you remember those erasers?
Yeah, but I always press too hard and I'd rip their heads off.
You break them, right? They would break.
Yeah,
that eraser smell comes through a little bit on this nose for me because I don't know if you remember. It was a kind of sweet smell.
Yeah.
Like you could almost eat those erasers back in the day.
I did.
I did as well. Explains a lot for both of us. Let's give it a whirl.
Oh, that was good.
It's only 10:30, what do you want? So, you want a little more?
Yeah.
You seem pretty happy with it.
I needed that.
To breathe, right?
Yeah, well,
it's like your oxygen.
Yeah, I'm
heavy on the apples, huh? Granny Smith apples for days.
Granny Smith
Actually,
apple.
Tastes like now and later apple candy.
Yeah, it's got that and kind of like a quinine and like a lime, like key lime. And I think some of that key lime thing goes with the minerality that you get from the chalky soil. So
to me, there's some really nice balance here between the minerality and the fruit. There is a little hint of that sweetness,
right? But
like
that's
one little sugar cane that I think will appeal to a lot of people.
Yeah, because what you have here is you have the fruit, so there's a little bit of sugar, but then the acidity is so high that it finishes dry. So you get this beautiful flavor in your mouth, and then at the end, it's clean and it's refreshed. So you want to drink the wine. It's not where you want to taste it. It's a beverage. Wine is meant to be drank, not to be tasted.
That's a novel idea.
Yeah.
Instead of analyzed or collected.
Yeah, like I said, I was thirsty, so I drank it up.
You pounded that.
I was thirsty.
I respect that. I'm really excited about the acidity level of this one.
Right.
To me, Rieslings in this price point tend to be fine and interesting, but don't have that high level of acid. For me, Charles,
yes,
I want the wine to rip my tongue. I want the switchblade to come out, and I just want to start cutting my tongue with it. Not recommended in real life, but in a... You carry this. Look at you.
I can't believe they don't let me take my wine opener on the plane. Can you believe that?
You got this on the plane?
No, they wouldn't let me take it on. They had to make you check it. Can you believe that?
This is nice, though.
Yeah, it is nice.
You could hurt somebody with this.
Well, this could be...
I better be careful with the way I score these wines. Solid Riesling to me. Again, $12 suggested retail. I'm sure you could even find this for the $11, $10.99. $13 price range. I've seen this on quite a few restaurant lists.
Yeah.
So you've done a good job. What happens? You walk in with this and say, put on your list?
Kind of,
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, it works.
Or you charm them.
I try.
You're a little bit of a charmer.
I could be.
Yeah, I understand that.
Sweet and sour, kind of like Riesling.
Fair enough.
There you go.
I'm a big fan of this wine. I think it's a very good entry-level Riesling opportunity to really show people what Riesling brings to the table. I think it's a little bit more Europeanized because it does have more minerality.
Absolutely. We don't want people out there are intelligent. We don't want to give them something. We don't want to dumb it down. We want to elevate it and take it one step beyond. The idea is to share our passion and the things that we think have integrity. And the idea is, I need to put it in the bottle. The labels are about attracting people's attention, and then put something real and pure with integrity in the bottle to reward them for their patronage.
You just heard why I like this guy, and very much a similar concept to the global aspect of why I do this show. The hoopla, the craziness, my personality, just who I am, is going to attract a little controversy, love-hate kind of thing. However, in the program, the content,
right,
I want it to be unbelievable, as good as I can, and get people to think, try different things, and empower people with wine self-esteem.
Right.
I think that's very interesting. I think that's a definite tactic that you've done with your wine. I've noticed that from afar. I've always been a big fan of the K single vineyard stuff. Really excited about this effort, showing extremely well to me. This is an 88, 89 point type wine for my palate. Everybody has their own palate and different things, but I gotta tell you, at this price point, this is one of the better Rieslings that I've approached. And I'll tell you what, it's not the charisma or the knife that are putting me in that direction. This is just...
Or the wristband.
Well, the wristband is.
Okay.
The fact of the matter is that this is a solid entry-level Riesling. I think it shows a lot of potential of what Columbia Valley Rieslings can be. I think if you're eating food of the Thai and Chinese food and things of that nature, I think that's probably where you went a little bit with the Kung Fu.
Hence the rice bowl and the chopstick.
Didn't even see that.
There you
go. I think it makes a lot of sense. Also, if you're a big sushi or oyster fan, I think this goes really well with the cuisine of the Northwest. I think this is a nice play. I think you did a good job here.
Thanks. Yeah.
And you know what? I'll be honest with you.
Right.
I think when I taste this wine, it feels like there's room for this to get even. I think there's potential in this vineyard. I mean, I think you're probably massively excited where this could go.
Oh yeah, I mean, single vineyard. I mean, it's beautiful. Farmed by Butch and Jerry Milbrandt. I mean, this is farmed.
Butch.
Have you met Butch?
No, but I mean that's
a cool name.
Yeah, I mean that's the bottom line.
I mean, there you go.
So
I mean, single vineyard grown by these two brothers. I mean, it's amazing in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Yeah, let's get
Butch, huh?
Yeah, Butch and Jerry.
Sounds like ice cream.
Yeah.
All right, Chateau Smith.
Well, the idea with this was, to make not a Bordeaux blend, but the idea is the sense that Cabernet Sauvignon
2006.
Exactly. Cabernet Sauvignon is taking the lead, and then adding a couple of other varietals. This has Malbec 10% and 5% Cab Franc to do my own domestic version of what I think a Chateau style bottling would be. So the idea is you have the restraint instead of this big brawny California Cabernet Sauvignon, which are delicious, and the more tannin and austere Bordeaux wines, which are delicious, to make something that's really Washington State restrained, structure, fine tannins, and with a beautiful amount of freshness, like it comes from a cool climate. And that's what's really nice about Washington wines, and you dig about them, is that they taste like they were growing in a cool spot, which is really, really nice.
I agree.
Yeah.
This is a $21 suggested retail wine, so pretty fairly priced in the scheme of the pricing in the world. Though if the markets keep tanking the way they are, I think we're going to see wine prices come down slightly. The people are going to have to adjust. 21 bones. Chateau Smith, 2006, Columbia Valley Cab. Now, again, in Washington, what is it, 85% or 75% you have to use the varietal?
That's 75, but this is just,
So, if you used 74% Cab, you'd have to go in a different angle.
Yeah, it'd be
and
called,
you went 85 Cab.
Yeah, because it's a Cabernet. Yeah, it's a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's not a Bordeaux blend. It's just Cabernet Sauvignon with a couple more things to add to complexity and give a little bit more to it, And the idea is that, people want to buy Cabernet Sauvignon. They're familiar, they're comfortable with it. And the whole idea about the Charles Smith Wine Project, I call it my modernist project, because the wines are meant to be drank, upon release. Not that because they're simplistic, but the idea is that we back it up in the winemaking so it isn't like super extracted or lots of oak or whatever. They have to wait for the wine sun wine. You go into a restaurant, order a glass of wine. If at this price, it's either like insipid and kind of, monolithic and kind of like one-dimensional, or it's too not ready yet. And the idea is the wines are ready to drink when they're released. And the idea was to add those other varietals, give it complexity, pick a really good site, and make the wine balanced so it's delicious. So you and I can drink this stuff. And you too.
And everybody.
And everybody.
That being said, I think what Charles hit on is very important. I think I want more people to recognize this. You noticed how he talked about drinkable right away, and he prepped it because he knows what the mindset is of the wine consumer. That doesn't mean it's not complex. Way too many people think that drinkable wine doesn't mean it's serious. And that's a stupid myth. It's a real downfall for a lot of people. There's a lot of interesting wines that can be drank within the first year to 3 years that are very complex and very interesting. They're just that people are trying. Listen, here's the wine. He's trying to make a wine. He knows you're not patient.
Right. You know we're going to drink it today.
And a lot of winemakers fear, and I'm sure you fear with your K-wines a lot of times, that people pop too soon, don't decant, and judge immediately on one sip, like clowns like me on the Thunder Show. You judge one sip, and that's very difficult when you've put in this whole heart and soul for a year, and you get this jerk off in New Jersey, opens it, pops it, pours it, and makes
or on the West Coast,
or anywhere, and makes an analyzation of the wine, a global, here it is, when we all know it's time. Sense of how long it's been decanted. Your mind. Listen,
right?
You should see the shows on Mondays after a Jets win. The wines are scored 3 to 4 points higher.
There you
go. So at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of winemakers who are trying to make wines that are a little bit more approachable from the get-go, or at least showing its merit, because the danger of a non-patient public popping and pouring and analyzing a wine that's really meant to be drank 5 to 7 years from now is a very dangerous feat. It's like judging a human being when they're 8 years old. Like, this is who you are.
Yeah, you don't
evolve.
buy a 2005 Chateau Margaux Bordeaux for for $500 because it's going to taste like $500, $1,000.
It's crazy.
When it comes out, it's because it's what its potentiality is going to be. So you don't drink it before it becomes worth that money.
Though a lot of people do drink it.
Yeah, it's a waste. It's
let's give us a whirl. The nose is a little bit tight. I'm struggling with the nose a little bit here. I get a little, chocolate covered cherry kind of thing going on, but other than that,
I get a little like tobacco leaf.
Really?
But I definitely get the chocolate and the cherry. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I get that quite heavy.
But you know what you're not getting? A bunch of oak.
No, which is...
I mean, this wine was in...
scares the crap out of me. You know that,
too.
right?
It
I mean, the
sucks.
oak monster is very scary, so I'm always happy when I don't see it.
These wines are naked. I mean, they're revealing everything that's there. They're not hiding behind anything. They're not, they're not...
So many people hide,
they
inferior fruit with oak.
Well, they fill up the donut hole with more donut. I mean, it doesn't need it. I mean, to fill it with oak, and it doesn't need it. So what do you get here? You get a pure wine, and the balance in it, the wine is so smooth on the palate. Good too.
When do you say this is bad? With your stuff ever?
Yeah, sometimes, but it feels good right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet takes time to evolve, and the thing about it is, I mean, what 2006 Cabernet Sauvignon is going to be that smooth, that balanced, has a sense of place. It doesn't taste like it comes from California. Which is a great thing. It tastes like it comes from a cool place, but it has balance, it has length, and you know what? It's just going to get better and better.
To me, my palate's in a funny place. I'm getting bored with Cab a little bit, I think. To me, this is a very solid wine.
Yeah.
I like the fruit. I agree with you. The youth of it, the vibrance, and the fact that it's so drinkable is definitely very appealing.
That's the idea.
And if you're drinking, Simi or Franciscan or, wines of that nature in that similar price point, to me, this is a far more exciting wine. One, it doesn't have the over-oaked aspect. Two, I do like the sense of cool climate. I do get almost like a radish component. Like red radish.
I like radishes, but...
I love radishes.
Me too, with salt.
Really?
Yeah, I gotta have salt on it.
How about tomatoes?
Salt.
Me too.
Yeah.
Heavy on that. To me, this has like this on the tail end, this really fascinating red radish component, which I like quite a bit. But to me, it's a solid Cabernet. I don't know. On my palate these days, on October 1st, or is that what it is, or 31st of September? Is it October 1st?
It is.
Christmas. Wow. Time flies, huh?
When you're having fun.
That's what I love it. To me, this is a solid wine. It doesn't blow away my palate. I'm not going screaming. It doesn't make me want to go out and buy, a Palomalo, what's his name? Troy Palomalo, the guy from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has your hair.
Does he?
Yeah.
What do you do?
You should go buy his wigs in
want
Pittsburgh.
Bring it back.
Yeah, somebody bring him one in Washington State, or Troy Palomalo, because that could be your thing. You could sell your hair. It could be you've got to monetize your hair.
Yeah.
You've got to. I mean, it's a very special gift, and I think you should sell the wigs at the winery.
That'd be nice.
See, now this wine doesn't make me want to go out and get a wig, though.
No,
not as much as the first wine.
No,
I mean, to me, it's I'll be honest.
Again,
it seems. I don't know. It seems like it has some baby fat. I'm a little bit worried about the mid palate too. It seems a little. Is it going to? Do you
it's
feel
going to It's Cabernet Sauvignon. This wine was only bottled in June. It's going to flesh out.
Got it.
The idea also is, like
June.
you said,
Got it.
like Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon needs time to open and develop and develop. It is one of those wines. Like you say, you're not that excited about Cab these days. I'm with you. But I love Cabernet Sauvignon, but it's not
tasty.
the one that I drink the most of. But the one thing is, like with Wine Library TV. It's about the consumer.
No
We're
doubt.
making wines for the people. And so this wine is where if you go into a restaurant, you're in New York City tonight, or you're in New Jersey, or you're out there on the West Coast, and you get a glass of this wine, you're going to be really by the glass, you're going to be really happy.
I believe
it's
that.
It's balanced, it's smooth, and you're going to go, wow, this one. You're not going to have to work at drinking it. You just sit back and enjoy it. And that's all you pound it.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
All right, so
Cool.
let's move on. Let's get into the Syrah.
Let's have this one first.
You want to do that first?
Do you mind, Gary?
No. Listen,
Cool.
you know how you want to roll it.
Okay.
Let's go with the K.
Ovide.
Ovide.
It's named for my father, see?
That's very nice.
Yeah, for my father, Robert Ovide.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
55 bones, double nickels.
There's a
I
lot of wine
understand.
there.
67 cab, 33% Syrah. Walla Walla, let's do a little rinse.
Thank you.
How much of this do you make again?
8 barrels, so less than 200 cases.
Now, do you have a mailing list?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we need to link that up. Is that on your website?
Yep.
So let's tell Mott to link that up.
K-vintners.com. K-vintners.com.
Mott, let's link that up because I assume, demand goes up, small production, some things, getting on the list is really going to give you your best opportunity to...
Absolutely.
get
First come, first serve.
classic Americana.
Exactly. Just because...
No motion.
No, first come, first serve. The idea is just because you discovered my wines this year doesn't mean you have to get in line behind the people that got them 7 years ago. There's no waiting list to get on my mailing list that you got to sign up for. The idea is you want to buy the wines, call me up.
Send
me an email. Come see Gary.
Yeah.
I mean, they're here. So.
All right, let's give it a sniffy sniff. 55 bones, Cab Syrah blend.
Biodynamic, co-fermented, like 1.4 ton to the acre, all dried riverbed.
I smell tomatoes.
Oh yeah, and dry
right?
Mediterranean, like dried Mediterranean herbs.
I freaking love that.
It's so awesome.
I love this.
This is, I think of my K-vintners winery.
And this is smoky too.
Oh yeah.
Like a rib.
Yeah, it's so meaty and gamey. Why do you put it in your mouth?
My gosh. So, a lot of times I talk about bouquet. I talk about how the smell is just so, and the bouquet and the nose of a wine is so underrated in our society right now. To me, I always equate it to the previews in a movie. How Lizzie and I will not go to the movies unless I can definitely see the previews. If I miss the previews, I'm out.
Yeah,
It is almost the reason I go to the movies.
Well, you got to get in the mood.
Yeah, and I get pumped.
Well, you also got to eat half your popcorn before the movie starts.
No doubt. And you got to answer those questions like, oh, Mel Gibson.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, really, really, really high on the nose bouquet. I've talked about wines that are $8 to $12 sometimes that I think are just worth it just on the nose. Obviously, at 55 bones, I'm not going to tell you a nose is worth it. It's a lot of money to smell something. But I got to be honest with you. And, we've been a little bit tough on the wine before this, so, we're keeping it real. This wine smells tremendous.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
agree. I concur.
God, this smells so good. I really like the tomatoes. I like the herbaceous aspects. I get a little tobacco leaf that I didn't get from the other wine. I get quite a bit
but
here.
Once again, low yield, more concentrated. I mean, like I say, 55 clams, 55 bones. You're gonna get that concentration. You're gonna get something that's gonna
What is
develop
the
more.
alcohol? 14.5.
14.
It's
Well,
like
actually,
14.2.
it's really 14.2.
Really?
Yeah, but I have to even it off because I ship a little wine to Europe, and so for export, they wanted
sure.
And
by law, you're allowed what, 1% to play?
above 14, 1%, and below 14, 1.5, which is that's a big stretch.
I know, the laws are so ridiculous. Anyway, let's give it a whirl.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah. I mean, here's the bottom line. Wow.
Yeah,
Just give
wow.
it a shot.
Yeah, let's drink that one.
This is a winning formula. To me, when you can extract this much fruit, and I'm talking about blackberries, mulberries, dark blueberries, yet give such a sense of balance. This is not your older brother's Barossa Valley Shiraz or Napa Valley Cab from 5 to 8 years ago, where you just get this, bleh, just like the blob. This is lean and mean, like the Green Lantern. I just wanted to talk about the Green Lantern.
You're
my
right.
favorite superhero. Mean and lean.
Oh,
I mean,
Green Lantern.
very focused fruit. I get a lot of chalk dust on the mid palate, which is very fascinating to me. I love that. High school, you make the chalk cloud, somebody walks into it, ha ha ha. I get that flavor in your mouth. I get gorgeous tobacco, black currants, black fruit. Much, much more black fruit on this wine for my palate than red fruit. I get less strawberries and raspberries and all that. I go much more to the Dark Knight Batman style in the palate.
Absolutely.
Huge length. The finish is redonkulous. I'm still tasting the wine.
I know, and your mouth tastes clean and pure, and the flavor is it
Coats.
and like I said, it just goes down like silk.
It's like black ice.
What's black-
When like it doesn't snow, it doesn't rain, and like that's like the most dangerous thing because the pavement you can't see it.
It's like the shiniest road ever.
Exactly. That's like the palate, gathering. I mean, the fruit is everywhere.
Yeah, it's still, my mouth is
I
just
like this a lot.
salivating.
I'm gonna pour you a little more because I know you loved it. Just
Thank you.
not so much because I know you're gonna pound it.
Yeah,
But you have drivers, so you're. Gonna
I make wine for my father. This is the Ovide, and I make another single vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon Syrah for my mom called Roma.
It's very nice.
Yeah,
Family.
well, I love
That's
my
what the whole
parents,
game
you know?
is.
Yeah.
Are they still with us?
My father died this last May.
I'm sorry.
So, but here's to my dad.
Absolutely. To your dad.
I'm glad you like it. I love that
I
wine.
more than like it. I love this wine.
Thank you.
I think this is incredible. I'm probably being a little bit jaded because I love my dad so much as well, and that's playing into my emotions. But before I even knew the story, before you even just said that, this wine was rocking my palate. I mean, to me, this is the kind of wine for people that are really serious about wine, really love wine, looking for big bombs, big flavor, but balance and elegance. To me, really, this reminds me, though it's a different flavor profile, of what I love so much about 2005 Bordeaux.
Right.
That it has power, yet it's like that gorgeous 47-year-old woman that's really, just a class act.
Right.
But if you go wrong on her, she will whip your face off.
She might even come
Conniving, yeah. So, to me, that's an interesting person. To me, that
Exactly.
means, I'm nice, and if you push me the wrong way, I'm still nice. I'm kind of a little bit of a pushover. I like the people that are nice, but if you go wrong on them, they'll whip your ass.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I respect that because I don't have that trait to go in for the kill. And so I really I find this wine to be that way. I feel like it's got power yet elegance. It's like a ballerina that can whip ass.
I like that.
You like that?
Fuck yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah, I guess you can't say
another
that.
beep. So really great wine. I'm going 93 plus points in this wine. I think this is spectacular. I think this is well worth investing. I think this is well worth single reason to just get on the mailing list for this wine. I think it's spectacular. I would be hard pressed. I'd be really, really surprised.
More.
I'd be really, really surprised to find people that don't like this wine. I mean, I think the only argument somebody would have is, $55 is a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot
You
of
only
money.
live once.
But you only have, there you go, there's the counter. And listen, with the pricing now of Bordeaux and the other categories, it's getting harder to get great wine at 55, and this is great Walla Walla wine. We've talked about the Boudreaux, and we've talked about Cedar Creek and other wines that I've liked. I mean, this rivals right in that world. At 55 bones, I think this is an out-and-out steal, because I do think that this is a three-digit wine. I do believe that this is a $100 quality red wine. It's nice to taste a wine. I've really struggled with Cab, and probably the reason I'm going so high on this wine is I've personally struggled with Cab Syrah blends.
It struck a note with you.
It struck a note with
Yeah.
me. It's a blend that has traditionally not done great by me.
No, I'm with you. You know why? Because it's always about trying to make up what the wine's lacking, instead of
Just putting two great things together
that deserve to be together. It's like a good relationship.
Makes sense.
They deserve to be together.
I understand.
Yeah.
Let's go, because Mott's getting frisky. All right. Little pour, little rinse.
Thank you.
Mott, we're having fun. You can't speed us up. Where are we at this point? 28 minutes. This is an epic. All right.
This wine's going to be a little restrained. I mean, same thing. It's a fall release. The wine's just coming out. These wines...
This is the Kate. Let me just jump in. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. K
sure.
Syrah, the Morrison
Sure show.
lane, 2006. You're the guest, though. And you make very little this wine, right?
Very little, yes.
$42 US. Big shout out to Ronnie Lott, former Jet, even though he's really a 49er. Oh, it's k-syrah.com for this wine.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of URLs. You're big on the URLs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Let's give it a sniffy sniff and tell them about this wine.
This is single vineyard Syrah from the Walla Walla Valley. Dean and Bertie Morrison, they own this vineyard. This is from the old block, planted in 1994. There's 5 acres. I have 4 of them. My K wines are all done with native yeast, spontaneous malolactic fermentation,
Really?
and they're foot crushed. I don't crush anything on a machine. I have really nice feet. I get pedicure and everything.
Really, let's see them. Take it off. I'm serious. Let's show the Maniacs out there what you got. I mean, if you're going to talk the talk, we need to see you walk the walk.
But I should have got a pedicure yesterday.
That's all right. Just do it. I mean, listen, you never know what's going to happen on the Thunder Show.
See?
Holy crap, they're really nice. I mean,
Yeah.
notice the gorgeousness right here. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just very impressed. Oh, what's this? Little tat action?
That's my dead moon tattoo.
But let's see underneath, because they want to know what they're
Look,
drinking.
see? Clean.
I gotta admit, I'm shocked.
Thank you.
I'm shocked.
Thank you.
I mean, let's be honest. Most of the people out there,
That's
I like that.
yeah, it's rock and roll.
Most of the people out there are not rocking toes. and feet.
Foot crushing.
That's amazing.
It smells okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Smell. Yeah, all leather. It's great.
It's kind of like when you go to one of those, the Irish pubs and they fill a boot full of ale.
Yeah, I know, love that.
Why don't I use boots like this? It's much cooler.
I totally
More
agree.
rock and roll. Anyway.
A lot of dark fruit coming through.
Yeah, there's a lot of dark fruit. Like I said, everything's foot crushed. So what we do is we'll destem on the machine, but there'll be 40% whole clusters. So the grapes with the stems are in the fermenters. We're fermenting 1.5 ton open bin stainless steel fermenters. And we don't add any yeast or anything else to do commercially to start. It just starts fermenting on its own. Mm-hmm. So what's in the vineyard is what goes into your glass. Basically, vineyard to bottle to glass. And so there's no stops. There's no changing planes or something else. It's like you take off here
from the ground to the mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's cool. That is very cool.
Just like food and wine. Things that you go to somebody's garden. And they pick some tomatoes. They come in. They slice for you with the salt, of course, or the radishes, and you taste it.
1,000%. It's a totally different game.
Yeah,
it's a totally different game.
Vineyard to glass. And that's cool.
What are you getting on the nose? I'm getting like cherry fruit roll-ups.
I kind of get this undergrowth, like this dried grasses and kind of this loamy, stony kind of character to it. We just opened these wines, so. If you're going to drink these at home, I do either throw it into decanters, especially these wines are young.
Sure.
Or just put in my cellar. I drink the older ones and then start, and cellar the newer ones. But what's so nice about this wine, there's purity to it. Just like when you like the Ovide, how it's just there's purity.
Now this is seeing oak.
Yeah, it's about.
I feel that coming through.
Yeah, everything's done in really beautiful French Burgundy barrels, and we might rack the wine twice. Maybe 3 times the whole time during the aging process. This was in barrels for 20 months. And the idea is we just use beautiful wood. The idea, it has to live in something. So put it in a nice little home. And because the thing is, it's going to be in your glass. And I make wine for people to drink. And so I have a lot of love for the people that buy my wines. Without people buying my wines, I don't
You're out of
make
the
a living.
game.
Exactly. So the thing is, I put everything that I have, all my passion for wine, all the integrity, my heart goes into these wines. And because I am a very lucky guy, this is what I get to do for a living. My God, I get to make wine, get to make my own booze. How cool is that? Right? Really.
It's the American dream.
It is the American dream. Everybody goes, yeah, I think I want to have a winery in Tuscany. Why go to Tuscany when you can do it right here in the United States?
14.5.
Yeah, that's for real. That's for real.
Not 14.7?
It could be.
It feels a little.
Just between you and I,
it feels a little action going on there. Really massive. This to me, is quintessential Syrah. this is big, bold, a little heat on the back end. This is going to need to round out. This is definitely something I would, unlike the Ovide, where I really can see people drinking it now, though I think it will get better. I don't really want anybody drinking this now.
You could, because it's so smooth and sort of, but
it's true. Listen, it's not appalling.
No, you'll be so.
It's got a lot more. It's got much more potential.
Oh yeah, it's got a long life ahead of itself. And the idea is, what 2006 Rhone wines are you going to drink now? No, you're going to be drinking the 2001s or the 99s. The idea is, this is serious wine, and it's made in a very loving and pure fashion. The idea is, this is what
jammy.
Without
jammy,
without being thick.
Without being thick. Though.
But you're saying massive, and it's totally massive.
Focused fruit. I like this Syrah. I like this. To me, it's a little hair hot on the back end. That's to be expected from such a young wine.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fruit will round itself out. Oh, notice how you went for the knife. Good thing I said just a hair hot. If I went really hot. But the fruit is very focused. I like the tannins. The tannins are very sweet and delicious
and fine.
Definitely fine.
Like right now, our mouth is clean.
It is clean.
Yeah, it's
with
red.
good residual fruit. I still taste that. This cherry, this has a little more red fruit to me than the last wine.
Yeah, the wines, the thing is, they're morphing, because in their youth, they kind of have this baby fat.
Sure.
And then as they age, they kind of lose that, and what happens is all of a sudden, they
blossom.
And all the earth and the gaminess and so forth, that's sort of the true Syrah character comes out.
Yep.
And that's the idea with these wines. These wines are built for aging, and you pay this kind of price for these wines. They're not like the Charles Smith wines, which are made to drink now. They will be rewarded with a little bit of age. But these wines are for to build monumental wines that will warrant you putting in your cellar and keeping them for a long time, and you can drink them through the different evolution of their life. And the idea is, that's you can really taste the difference between the Charles Smith wines and the K wines, and the idea of the K wines being the serious small artisan producer,
And the Charles Smith being your Americana place. So you can buy a plane and you do everything you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you want to sell trillions of cases of that.
Absolutely.
Understood. Very good wine. A lot of fruit. I like it quite a bit. I'm going to score 90 points for my palate. I like this. I think it's got a lot of potential, and I think 3-4 years from now, it could be a far more exciting wine. I'm excited to see where that goes. To me, the Ovide is just so incredible. I hope people go check it out. And the Riesling. Probably at the end of the day, if I push came to shove, I'd want most of the people watching the show to try the Riesling because I think it's so textbook.
Sorry.
No problem. So textbook, so what Riesling's all about, such a good price point, and a lot of fun and great with food. Just a great example of what can be done with a grape that I think is totally underrated, making some of the best wines in the world.
But it's making a comeback.
It is making a comeback.
Exactly.
Clearly. First, big happy engagement. Congratulations to Jared and Patrice. Big shout out to them. It's a big moment in life. And question of the day. Charles, every guest asks the question. Ask them anything you want. Wine question, life question. Fire it away. They'll answer.
Who? Who am I asking this question to?
The entire Vayner Nation. The
Really?
tens of thousands of people watching this will leave
They're
comments.
all inside there?
They're all fit inside that little camera.
How do you guys all fit inside that camera? That's my question to you. And when are you going to come visit us in Walla Walla, Washington? Or maybe come see the Jets play the Seahawks in late December with us in Seattle. And I'll see you there, right?
Definitely. And more importantly, thanks for being here, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
More importantly, we're going to link up the mailing list address. And I'm sure on that same webpage, there's a contact us or email us. If you want to come and visit this guy, I think it's clear to you that it would be a tremendous time. You, with a little bit of me and rock stars like this, we're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not.
Rock on.